Good evening, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. We are here to cover some live breaking news. The U.S. has conducted what it calls new self-defense strikes in Iran. Also, we want to bring you updates on the negotiations for a peace deal, which are still going on. Also, in about an hour and 15 minutes, there's going to be a press conference in Garden Grove about the Garden Grove chemical explosion risk situation. So we want to cover that live when that happens too. So we are going to bring you all these updates and take your comments and questions on the air. And I appreciate our moderators being here. We have Haley Girl and Ruth and Leslie Ladyhawk over there on YouTube. And we have over on Twitch, Matthew Kohai 3 is moderating there. Thank you. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha moderate for us on X. And we have our Facebook moderators too. Oops. Andrea Holder is moderating over there. Thank you, Andrea, and all of our other moderators on Facebook. So let me show you this to start off. Oh, also a quick thanks to, thank you, Cynthia Moon, for being a moderator and a member. Michael McIsaac, thanks for sending the gift membership. Michael, I appreciate that. Esta Bjorn's daughter, thanks for being a member. And Angry Tacos, thanks for being a member as well. Okay, now, and also Farquad and UXO Guy for subscribing on Twitch, and Miss Pennywiser for being a member. Thank you. All right, so here is a report here. U.S. military strikes Iranian boats' missile launch sites, CENTCOM. Multiple outlets saying that the U.S. military has announced this. The U.S. military carried out strikes today in southern Iran against targets including boats attempting to lay mines and missile launch sites in what it described as defensive actions. U.S. Central Command said in a statement that the strikes were designed to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire, said Navy Captain Tim Hawkins, a Central Command spokesperson. So they're saying the ceasefire is still going on. And give me a moment here. I assume, I haven't seen it posted yet. I assume we'll actually get soon the actual statement from CENTCOM. They've released a statement to certain media outlets, but they haven't posted it themselves that I saw. No, so I expect that to happen soon. Similarly, Fox News' Jennifer Griffin says, CENTCOM spokesperson Tim Hawkins says U.S. forces conducted self-defense strikes in southern Iran today to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. Targets included missile launch sites and Iranian boats attempting to emplace mines. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire. Now, several hours ago, Iranian media had reported several explosions near the Strait of Hormuz, near Bandar Abbas. So I don't know if that's what this was. I'm going to see, look for some more commentary in Iranian media. I'm not seeing yet any response in Iranian media, state media, to this specific announcement from the U.S. military. So we'll have to see. Ooh, hold on. What's this? No, I just checked a bunch of the Iranian state media sites, and I don't see any response yet to the specific statement by the US. So we'll be looking for that. And in case you missed it before, let me show you this. So this is from earlier here. That post was about 2.5 hours ago from Iranian state media Mer News. And it said, talking about these reported explosions near the Strait of Hormuz near Bandar Abbas. Mer News 2.5 hours ago said the source of the explosion was east of Bandar Abbas. The situation is completely normal. A few minutes ago, the sound of several explosions was heard in the city of Bandar Abbas. Again, this is a few hours ago. Our investigation indicated it originated from the far east of Bandar Abbas. At the same time, some citizens have reported hearing the sound of defense activity in the city. The situation in the city is completely under control, and there is no reason for the honorable people of Bandar Abbas to worry. Dear compatriots, please pay attention to rumors spread on social media and follow the news only from official media. Official sources have not yet commented on this matter. So I'm interested to see what Iranian media is going to say, Iranian state media, now that the U.S. is saying it's carried out what it says are defensive strikes. You can see here again, Reuters says that the U.S. military told them that they carried out strikes on Monday in southern Iran, which is where Bandar Abbas is, against targets including boats attempting to lay mines and missile launch sites in what it described as defensive actions. U.S. Central Command said in a statement the strikes were designed to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire. It doesn't give a specific time, just says Monday. By the way, if you're wondering, right now in Iran, the time is 3:22 a.m. Hang on a second. I'm going to show you where Bandar Abbas is. I just need to pull it up here. Give me a quick second here. Give me a quick second and I will pull it up for you. No, that didn't work well. Oops, we need satellite. Where's map type? Satellite type. Okay, so what you can see is, I'm going to pull it up on the screen for you. Where is this? Okay. So there is right there the Strait of Hormuz. And what I want you to notice is there is Bandar Abbas. So again, several hours ago, Iranian media was reporting some explosions heard near Bandar Abbas. Now we're hearing from the U.S. that it carried out what it called self-defense strikes in Iran. But I don't know if those two incidents were the same incident. One of the viewers mentioned oil. I don't know if this has affected the price of oil. The price of oil has dropped the last couple of days because of thoughts that there could be a peace deal. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not seeing much change on the oil front. Here is Brent crude. That's the one-day chart for Brent crude from tradingview.com. It's down. I mean, here's the 5-day chart. You can see what happened over the weekend. President Trump announced that a peace deal was close, and it dropped like 10%. So it hasn't done that much in the last few minutes. And then WTI US crude also hasn't done that much in the last few minutes. I mean, that was... I don't see any huge spike. Oh, that's one day. Anyways, so we'll keep an eye on that. All right, give me 2 seconds here. Let me check a couple things. And we'll see. I'm interested in hearing what Iran has to say about this, about the U.S. saying that it carried out self-defense strikes in Iran. What's Iran going to say about this? And we're going to take some of your comments on the air. Our viewer, Sarah Z1 says it's not a ceasefire if the U.S. is firing missiles. Quazga wrote self-defense strikes and then laughing emoji. Juice says weekend market manipulation. Another thing is, remember, the U.S. is claiming that Iran was laying mines. That's what the U.S. is claiming. Was Iran laying mines while negotiating a peace deal? I don't know. Oh, I posted. Austin mentioned that that report that I actually posted like an hour ago. Thanks for reminding me about it, Austin. So an Al Jazeera reporter who is hang on. Ali Hashem, who's an Al Jazeera reporter, had said a couple hours ago that an Iranian source told him that the heavy gunfire heard near Bandar Abbas erupted after the Iran targeted a vessel at sea, followed by U.S. fighter jets striking Iranian naval boats in the Gulf. According to that source, several Iranian Navy personnel were killed in the attack. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if Iranians were killed in the U.S. strikes. I don't know if that's what Austin was talking about. That is an Al Jazeera reporter. Oh, hold on a second here. All right, so still I still have not seen any official Iranian reaction, including state media, to the US saying it conducted new self-defense strikes in Iran. Oh, now hold on a second. I do see this. Let me do this. Hang on. Where is this report? Noor News says Iranian student news agency ISNA reported something. I'm trying to find the original report. Let me go to their website and see what I could find there. Let me see what I can find there. ISNA is financially supported in part by the Iranian government, by the way. Iranian Students News Agency. Now, trying to go to the site. Let me go here. Yeah, it's kind of odd. So Noor, what is this? Where's Noor News? I was just looking at Noor News, and they were saying that they were claiming that Iran Student News Agency said several Iranians had been martyred in the U.S.-Israel strikes targeting Iranian vessels south of Lark Island. But I didn't see that actual report myself. I went to Iranian Student News Agency and I didn't see that actual report. So I can't confirm that ISNA said that. Hang on a moment here. Yeah, so I still don't have an official response from Iran after this US announcement. So I'm really looking for that. Oh, I have an update from Jennifer Griffin. Oh, this is not an update. I had missed this post before from Jennifer Griffin. So what Jennifer Griffin says that she heard about from Fox News, that she heard about these self-defense strikes. She said that there were 2 Iranian boats caught laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM did tell Reuters that Iran boats were laying mines. The U.S. military eliminated both Iranian vessels and also struck a surface-to-air missile site in Bandar Abbas that was targeting U.S. warplanes. These were defensive strikes. They do not indicate ceasefire is over, according to 2 well-placed sources, says Jennifer Griffin. That matches what CENTCOM told Reuters. By the way, thanks so much to Jeff TE88. Jeff T888, who says, we all need to report the drops in oil price with the same enthusiasm and passion as the spikes. Thanks also, Vlachy Guy, for the memberships. I really appreciate Vlachy Guy. Hastings Cruz says, do you think Iran is willing to give up this newfound control of the Strait of Hormuz? There's a lot of experts who think they don't want to give that up. I would say the general expert consensus is they don't want to give that up. Will they? I don't know. That's a big point in the negotiations. Thank you, Hastings crew. Thanks, Michael McIntyre, for being a member. And Melina Lowenjan, thanks for your support. Also, Dodger Blue to you, thanks for being a member. And Gary Eckert and Melina Lowenjan for the gift membership. I have yet to see an Iranian state media response after the U.S. told U.S. media that it had carried out self-defense strikes. Fred Flintstone thinks they're playing Trump? Again, Reuters says they heard from CENTCOM that the U.S. military carried out strikes in southern Iran Monday against targets including boats attempting to lay mines and missile launch sites in what it described as defensive actions. CENTCOM said the strikes were designed to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire, they said. Pioneer Twin says laying mines is not a good way to start agreements. The U.S. military is accusing Iran of having boats try to lay mines today. Uh, 51 minutes until the press conference in Garden Grove. We will have that for you. In case you missed it, in Garden Grove, where there has been this risk of a chemical tank explosion, the authorities, Orange County Fire Authority, today announced that the possibility of a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion, massive explosion, that possibility has been eliminated, they said. They said there could still be an explosion, but the worst type of explosion would not happen. They're going to do a press conference in about 50 minutes. They could announce a reduction in the evacuations. I believe around 50,000 people are under evacuation order. So we're going to bring you live coverage of the press conference in Garden Grove in 50 minutes. I do find it quite interesting that there's no response yet from Iran uh, about these U.S. strikes. I mean, if you remember, a few weeks ago we covered this exchange of fire between the U.S. and Iran. And Iran actually reported that first. And Iran had some very angry words for the U.S. back then. But I haven't seen anything like that yet. I haven't even seen any Iranian state media confirm that the U.S. attacked Iran today. Jennifer Smith says, seems strange. No response, not even a covered lie. Yeah, just not seeing it yet. So I'm keeping an eye out for that. Karen Renee Bronson says maybe Iran has something up their sleeves, I bet. See if there's any other reporting about this floating around. Yeah, right now the different outlets in the U.S. they really have a lot of the same reporting just based on what CENTCOM said, which isn't that much at this point. Oh, thanks to Ellie Lassetti for the memberships. Thanks, Ellie. I appreciate that. Also, thanks to Renee Lorraine in Canada. You also have to wonder if this is going to get in the way of the peace talks. Remember, President Trump said it was Saturday, right? Wasn't it Saturday when President Trump said they were close to a deal? A peace deal? He said it had been largely negotiated and that we would hear more soon. That was, I can show you when that was. I can look up when that was. That was President Trump on May 23rd. It was 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago, right there, when he said an agreement has largely been negotiated, subject to finalization by the U.S., Iran, and Israel, and the various other countries. Final aspects and details of the deal are currently being discussed and will be announced shortly. He said, in addition to many other elements of the agreement, the Strait of Hormuz will be open. That was back on 2 days ago. That was on Saturday. So, how might the U.S. conducting what it calls self-defense strikes on Iranian targets affect this? I still have not seen a response from Iranian media to the U.S. announcement. David says, just a love tap. Navy Corps man says the damage is done. By the way, it is Memorial Day here in the U.S., and I do want to thank all U.S. troops present and past for their service, and also, of course, recognize all of those who lost their lives in service for the U.S., who we recognize and honor on Memorial Day. I still have not seen CENTCOM. They have issued this statement to press outlets, but they have not publicly said anything about this in terms of just to the general public. So we're waiting on some kind of statement from CENTCOM. President Trump has not posted about this incident yet. I expect he will, but nothing from President Trump, no public post from CENTCOM, and nothing from Iranian state media. Thanks Jeff TE88, who says, have the leaders denied this? Well, I haven't heard any statements from Iranian leaders on this. Since the U.S. did not announce this that long ago. This news started coming out about an hour ago. And I have not heard any comment from state media or Iranian leadership. Bart Keck thinks something big is in the mix. One of the viewer Dystopian News mentioned Trump's nuclear dust post. Yes, in case you missed it, President Trump, when he says nuclear dust, he's talking about the enriched uranium. Iran's highly enriched uranium, which is believed to be, I believe, in metal canisters. But President Trump said, you can see right here, up here, couple hours ago, the enriched uranium nuclear dust will either be immediately turned over to the U.S. to be brought home and destroyed, or preferably in conjunction with coordination with Iran, be destroyed in place or at another acceptable location, with the Atomic Energy Commission or its equivalent being witness to this process and event. Now, I'm not aware, Iran hasn't said that they agreed to turn over their enriched uranium or to be destroyed or to destroy it themselves. That would be a big concession for Iran to make. No confirmation from Iran that they've agreed to this. I'll let you know if they do. Thank you, Gasthaus Cater Alex Berlin, who says, have there been talks? Yeah, President Trump says that talks have been going on. He says that the deal has largely been negotiated. This is a post he made this morning where he talked about wanting countries to join the Abraham Accords as the part of this deal. The Abraham Accords are a set of agreements that establish diplomatic normalization between Israel and several Arab states, says Wikipedia. So he said negotiations with Iran are proceeding nicely. It will be a great deal or no deal at all. Back to the battlefront and shooting, but bigger and stronger than ever before, and no one wants that. He talks about during his discussions on Saturday with leaders from places like Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, Bahrain, Turkey, Pakistan. He said, after all the work done by the U.S. to try and pull this very complex puzzle together, it should be mandatory that all of these countries, at a minimum, simultaneously sign on to the Abraham Accords. These countries are Saudi Arabia, the UAE, already a member, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Bahrain, already a member. It may be possible that one or two have a reason for not doing so, and that will be accepted, but most should be ready, willing, and able to make this settlement with Iran a far more historic event than it would otherwise be. He says the Abraham Accords have proven to be, for the countries involved, the UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, and Kazakhstan, a financial, economic, and social boom, even during a time of conflict and war. With the current members, he says, never even suggesting leaving or taking so much as even a pause. The reason for this is that the Abraham Accords have been great for them and will be even better for everybody. And being true power strength, bring true power strength and peace to the Middle East for the first time in 5,000 years. It will be a document respected like no other that has ever been signed anywhere in the world. Its level of importance and prestige will be unparalleled. It should start with the immediate signing by Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and everybody else follows suit. If they don't, they should not be part of this deal, and that it shows bad intention. And speaking to numerous of the great leaders mentioned above, they would be honored as soon as our document is signed to have the Islamic Republic of Iran as part of the Abraham Accords. Wow, now that would be something special. He's talking about Iran having diplomatic normalization with Israel. I mean, I agree that would be special if it happened. This will be the most important deal that any of these great but always in conflict countries will ever sign. Nothing in the past or in the future will surpass it. Therefore, I am mandatorily requesting that all countries immediately sign the Abraham Accords, and that if Iran signs its agreement with me as President of the USA, it would be an honor to have them as part of this unparalleled world coalition. The Middle East would be united, powerful, and economically strong, like perhaps no other area anywhere in the world. By copy of this truth, I am asking my representatives to begin and successfully complete the process of signing these countries into the already historic Abraham Accords. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So he's saying that as part of the U.S.-Iran deal, he wants all these Middle Eastern countries to normalize relations with Israel by signing the Abraham Accords. And he says he's mandatorily requesting it. I'm not exactly sure what that means. And he says they would welcome having Iran in the Abraham Accords, which would be Iran signing an agreement to normalize diplomatic relations with Israel. So that was this morning. Some of our viewers are confused by the mandatorily requesting, what he said. Sparky thinks it's never going to happen. North says they will never agree to this. We'll see. Oh, AP posted the exact statement that the U.S. military made about these strikes. Here, hold on. I'll show you. Is the statement in the article? Here is an update from AP on this. For 34 minutes until the press conference, 34 minutes until the Orange County press conference. So we got to keep an eye on that. Okay. U.S. military said it carried out, quote, self-defense strikes in Iran, including on missile launch sites. The U.S. military said today it carried out self-defense strikes in southern Iran, including on missile sites and boats placing mines. Even as President Trump said on social media that negotiations were proceeding nicely. The strikes were done to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces, said CENTCOM, but the military was using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire. Further details were not immediately available, including more specifics on the threats from Iran and what this means for negotiations. Earlier, Trump said any agreement to end the Iran war should include as a requirement for several additional countries, including Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, to join the Abraham Accords, the U.S. brokered agreements from Trump's first term aimed at normalizing relations with Israel. The proposal came as the emerging possible Iran deal, faced criticism from fellow Republicans who favor a harder line on Iran, and it could add new diplomatic complications to the negotiations. AP says Trump has long hoped that Saudi Arabia would join the Abraham Accords. But Saudi Arabia has maintained that any normalization deal with Israel requires first establishing a clear path for Palestinian statehood. That is also key for Pakistan, which is among the countries that do not have diplomatic relations with Israel. Egypt and Jordan already formally recognize Israel and have long-standing peace treaties. It remains unclear when or how any U.S. deal with Iran might be completed. Trump suggested even Iran could eventually sign onto the Abraham Accords if an agreement is reached. And the statement, according to AP, Konstantin Toropin from AP posted what he said was the statement they got from CENTCOM. And the statement reads, U.S. forces conducted self-defense strikes in southern Iran today to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. Targets included missile launch sites and Iranian boats attempting to emplace mines. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire. I still have not seen any response to this from Iran. yet. Hey, thanks to Nashinas26. Nashinas26 thinks Muslims want to destroy Israel and Israel wants to destroy Muslims? Trump needs to read history before making such weird demands. Thank you, Skybird, for being a member. Thanks, Gasthouse Cater Alex Berlin. Also, Yusuf Athawadi. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you, Michael Hutchinson, for your support, who thinks Iran is planning something very big against America, an attack maybe, plus we have Russia to worry about too. Thank you also, Sparky the Human, for the memberships. Thank you. Jennifer Griffin with Fox also said, I am told the U.S. strikes are over for now. The U.S. military says it reacted when they saw 2 Iranian boats laying mines, and then also when a surface-to-air missile site targeted its warplanes. That's what she claims, the U.S. says. Well, I'm guessing, I'm sure she has good sources. I'm guessing somebody from the military is telling her that. Were there really 2 Iranian boats laying mines? Official Kevin says, I thought there was going to be a new deal. I guess not. Well, we'll have to see. Checking some messages here. We have about 26 minutes until the upcoming Orange County Fire press conference about the Garden Grove risk of a chemical tank explosion. We will be covering that for you. That is going to be in about 26 minutes. Gregory Long thinks Donnie caved? We don't know what this deal is going to look like, if there is such a deal. We don't know. Remember what President Trump posted, was it yesterday, about the deal? Hold on, where is this? He said, hang on. Hang on, I gotta go back through the memes. He said, here, this. This was 6:10 a.m. this morning. 6:10 a.m. this morning. I laugh at all of the Democrats, rhinos, and fools who know nothing about the potential deal I am making with Iran. Things that haven't even been negotiated yet. Weak and ineffective people like failed Senator Tom Tillis, soon out of office, Bill Cassidy, who just suffered a massive primary loss, really bad Congressman Thomas Massey, a major sleazebag who lost in a landslide to a great American patriot endorsed by Trump after showing disloyalty to his party and country, and almost all Democrats, people that have actually lost their way, constantly supporting bad policy and even worse candidates, but are constantly critical of each and every fantastic win I have. These people should go home and rest. They do nothing but create division and loss. In other words, they are losers. The deal with Iran will either be a great and meaningful one, or there will be no deal. It will be the exact opposite of the JCPOA disaster negotiated by the failed Obama administration, which was a direct and open path to a nuclear weapon for Iran. No, I don't do deals like that. That was this morning at 6:10 a.m. Himster thinks Trump's got this. Moore thinks the deal keeps changing. We are bringing you live coverage. I still don't see any response yet from Iran. No Iranian response I have seen to the U.S. saying they conducted new self-defense strikes. Now, I will say this, something I did see. This, for example, is from Iranian state media, Press TV. Press TV says, Iran warns U.S. that any Israeli attack on, I believe this is the southern suburbs of Beirut, could risk total collapse of talks. Israel has been threatening to step up attacks on Hezbollah. Let me show you something about that. Hang on a moment here. Yes, so here's a report from AP about this, about Lebanon and the Iran-supported Hezbollah group in Lebanon. Israel's military says it is striking Hezbollah sites as Netanyahu vows to increase the blows. Israel's Air Force, remember, there's supposed to be a ceasefire in Lebanon. Israel accuses Hezbollah of breaking the ceasefire, and they have been attacked them numerous times, saying it's in response to their breaking the ceasefire. Israel's Air Force targeted sites belonging to Hezbollah in Lebanon, including in the country's eastern Bekaa Valley, late on Monday, as Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu vowed to intensify the attacks on the Lebanese militant group. Netanyahu's warning came as Hezbollah has been firing fiber optic drones, a weapon used widely in the war in Ukraine, at Israeli forces in southern Lebanon and northern Israel in recent weeks. Netanyahu said in a video, no, I don't know that I have this on in English. I don't think I have that in English. Anyways, Netanyahu said in a video, we will hit them. It's true that they are shooting drones at us, fiber optic drones. We have a special team working on that and we'll solve that too. He said in a video on social media. What this now requires of us is to increase the blows, to increase the intensity. We will smite them hip and thigh. Lebanon's state-run national news agency said after Netanyahu's post, some residents started leaving Beirut's southern suburbs where Hezbollah has a large presence. The agency also said several airstrikes hit the eastern town of Mashgara in the Bekaa region on Monday night. Krog Mode thinks this is going to escalate for sure. So I mentioned to you that, again, in light of Israel threatening to increase the strikes on Hezbollah in Lebanon, there's this report about the Iranian response to this. Al Jazeera reported, Ali Hashem of Al Jazeera reported, he said in Iranian, Al Jazeera's Ali Hashem said, an Iranian official source told me Tehran has warned Washington that any Israeli attacks on Beirut or the southern suburbs would seriously jeopardize ongoing efforts to end the war and could derail the diplomatic track altogether. Luna Guardian says, unless Israel stops their takeover of southern Lebanon, there will be no deal. Luna Guardian thinks Israel is determined to expand their illegal settlements. So, could renewed Israeli attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon negatively impact the peace negotiations between Iran and the U.S.? Oh, hold on a second. One of the viewers asked something. Hold on. Where is the... Give me 1 second. Where is that here? Where am I looking at? Stocks. Why can't I find the futures here? Yeah, so these are delayed by 10 minutes. This is bar chart. Bar chart, as of 10 minutes ago, the S&P futures were up like about less than 1%, like 2/3%. NASDAQ futures were up almost 1%. Dow futures were up, looks like about 0.6%. That's barchart.com. It's so weird. I still have not seen any kind of official Iranian response, including state media, to the U.S. saying it conducted new self-defense strikes in Iran. Still don't see it. Mr. QQQ Crash says maybe Iran is downplaying it. We only have about 12 minutes, until the Garden Grove press conference. We're going to be covering the Garden Grove press conference, and then we're going to continue covering developments in Iran. Okay, so we're going to be doing both of those things. And what I need to do right this second is, this is a sponsored broadcast. Our sponsor is Rumble Wallet. Thanks, Rumble Wallet. So here is a quick word from me about Rumble Wallet, and then we'll talk about Garden Grove and Iran, and we'll watch the press conference, and we will take more of your comments on there. So just a quick word from me about our sponsor, Rumble Wallet. If you've ever been curious about buying and investing in crypto, like Bitcoin and stablecoins like USAT, but felt like it was too complicated, Rumble Wallet is an easy way to get started. You can buy, sell, and manage your cryptocurrencies all in one place, and the app is super straightforward. What really makes Rumble Wallet unique is you can use it to tip your favorite creators with crypto, as long as they have Rumble Wallet too. Getting started is simple. Just download the Rumble Wallet app, sign up or use your existing Rumble Wallet account, complete a few security steps, and you're set up in minutes. You can start with just a few dollars, and with MoonPay built into Rumble Wallet, you can easily buy crypto using your credit card, debit card, or bank wire. So if you've been thinking about the advantages of crypto, download Rumble Wallet now by scanning this QR code or by clicking the link in the show description. Rumble Wallet is a technology provider only and not a custodial service. See terms at wallet.rumble.com. Okay, so we have 10 minutes and 34 seconds until the Orange County Fire Authority press conference about what's going on there in Garden Grove. And I don't know if they're going to announce some kind of change in the evacuation orders. Let's quickly go over what we know about what they've said so far today. So again, this was a chemical tank that for several days. When was the first? I can't even remember. Was it 2 days ago when initially the evacuations happened? I get all the days confused. Wasn't it Saturday when the evacuations happened? I think it was Saturday. So, but about 50,000 people are under evacuation. The incident kind of started on Friday, but I think the evacuations were Saturday. So about 50,000 people are under evacuation because there was concern that this chemical tank could explode. So here's what they said. Here's what they said this morning. But soon we're going to hear them give a new press conference. Sorry, I just need to take a second here, and I have too much open on my desktop, and I'm confusing myself here. Let me stop confusing myself. Here it is. Okay, so here's a brief video they posted this morning. And where is this? Hold on a second. Now I'm all confused. What do I have here? One moment. Okay, here is the announcement from this morning. We have 8 minutes till the new press conference. So here's what they said this morning. They gave a brief update. Oops.
Good morning. I'm TJ McGovern, Interim Fire Chief for the Orange County Fire Authority, and this morning I'm here with our Incident Commander, Chief Craig Covey. We're going to give you a brief updating about our mission that we had last night. We are happy to report that the threat of a levee is now off the table. That threat has been eliminated, and I'll give it to Chief Covey for more information.
Thank you, Chief. He's 100% right. We have eliminated the threat of a levee. Our members went into that exclusion zone again to validate what we were seeing and get those temperatures. The crack is there. We have verified that it's there, and the tank has released its pressure. Additionally to that, the temperature has been stabilized and actually reducing. It is currently 93 degrees, down from 100 degrees. That is incredibly positive news as we turn the corner on this incident and reduce those first two options and mitigate this incident. I want to emphasize, I know there's been a lot of why aren't we getting these temperatures more often? The risk management to our firefighters' safety was first and foremost thanks to you guys evacuating the communities. But our firefighters were still the risk process here. And we wanted to ensure that we were doing calculated risk to that management. We were not doing tank temperature checks during the day while the sun was on it in the most extreme conditions for that tank to go the wrong direction. We were only doing tank temperatures at night. That's why there was delays in getting you guys that information, because we didn't want to put our members in harm's way and let that thing settle during the day, work on the other objectives that we needed to accomplish, and then go operational at night. So we are really pleased and excited to tell you the levee is off the table.
We want to be clear that the evacuation zones are still in play. Please abide by those evacuation zones. Once again, we appreciate your support and the patience while we work through this incident together.
So again, that was early. That was this morning. But in about 5 minutes, we're supposed to get a new press conference where they take questions, maybe announce some changes in the evacuation zones. Let me just check something here. They're not live yet. They're not live yet. They did also clarify, if you're wondering what BLEVI means, which I would certainly understand, they did clarify and they said, here, I'll show you. And they said, you can see it is a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion. In parentheses, massive explosion. They said, we will be holding a press conference later today at the command post in Los Alamitos. Oh, it's in Los Alamitos. Okay. Please check back. It's supposed to be in 4.5 minutes. Evacuation orders remain in place while the catastrophic risk of a BLEVI, boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion, massive explosion, has been eliminated. There is still an ongoing threat to public safety. There is still no chemical leak as verified by continuous atmospheric monitoring. So we are waiting to get the live feed. Oh, hold on. Look what I have for you. Look what I have. Breaking news. Breaking news. It's the best way to show this. I'll do it this way. I can see video. I can see video. You'll be able to see it in a second. I just need to put it on the screen for you. Need to get it on the screen for you. I am putting it on the screen for you. Oh my gosh, we have live video. Look at that. Orange County fire. I'm going to put my headphones on. This is going to be at Los Alamitos. Is it? All right. So what I have to do is, this is live. I'm going to change the headline. Any moment. Press conference on Garden Grove chemical risk. And this is going to be, and we'll talk more about Iran after the press conference, of course. I wonder if they'll let people go back to their homes. Or some people, at least. Okay. We are waiting for this to start. I have the volume turned up. Thoughts with everybody who has been out of their homes and in that area, people who have been evacuated all weekend, and also people in that area, near the area. Thoughts with them. I hope this thing can get settled soon and people can go back to their homes. Susan Pardslow Lounsbury said, where did 50,000 people go? Thank you, Michael Hutchinson, for your support. Michael thinks they should be allowed to return home if that's so. Thanks, Jeff TE88 PFCR, who said, so Iran is admitting to talks? Yeah, I think Iran has admitted that talks have been happening, but we have yet to hear that there's some sort of agreement. We'll see. Thanks, Posiwi, for being a member. Andrew Schlegel, who says violence ordeal is like an unhealthy relationship, talking about the Iran negotiations. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Miss Donald MS. Also, quick thanks to Oxytropus on Twitch, Kindra Fox on Twitch, Nummy Yummy on Twitch, Johannes Kreikhammer on Twitch. I'm hearing audience. I'm hearing sound. I'm hearing sound. Breaking news, we have sound.
10,
Wow, here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the press conference on the Garden Grove hazardous materials incident. My name is Greg Barta, Fire Captain and Public Information Officer for the Orange County Fire Authority. On behalf of the 9 Unified Command Agencies, the Orange County Fire Authority, Anaheim Fire Department, Garden Grove Police Department, Orange County Sheriff's Department, Anaheim Police Department, Cypress Police Department, Westminster Police Department, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Orange County Healthcare Agency, in addition to the many assisting agencies, we appreciate you all being here tonight. For updated information, please continue to follow OC Fire Authority on X. Additionally, a public information hotline has been established, and the number is 714-628-7085. Tonight, there will be 9 speakers, with a brief time for questions afterwards. Today's speakers are Orange County Fire Authority Interim Fire Chief TJ McGovern, Garden Grove Police Chief Amir El Farah, Orange County Fire Authority Division Chief and Incident Commander Craig Covey, EPA Federal On-Scene Coordinator Chris Myers, Orange County Health Officer Dr. CK, Orange County Fire Authority Board Chair Josh Sweeney, Garden Grove Mayor Stephanie Kloffenstein, 1st District Orange County Supervisor Janet Nguyen, and United States Senator Adam Schiff. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Chief McGovern.
Thank you, Captain Barta. Good evening, everyone. TJ McGovern, Interim Fire Chief for the Orange County Fire Authority. Thank you all for being here for this important message. You know, early on in this incident, it started with us being advised that there are no options and nothing we can do. Basically, it was going to be a major explosion, which we've been referring to as a BLEVE, or a catastrophic spill. That message did not resonate with the firefighters and first responders. We knew we had to come up with a plan. That's what we do. We look at these incidents and we come up with a plan. Throughout the day today, I've been happy to report that the most catastrophic and worst case scenario was mitigated and resolved. That was the case of a potential BLEVE. It's not over yet, and I want to reemphasize that. It's not over yet. We still have work to do. There's 2 things that we're going to be still doing an operation on. Number 1, we still have to mitigate a fire and very small explosion concern, and also a spill potential. You know, I've worked in this city for 25 years prior to joining OCFA, so this incident is very close to me. I want to thank all the citizens who were displaced and their patience in support for us as we're trying to mitigate this situation. Next, I would like to bring up the Garden Grove Police Department Police Chief Amir El Farah.
Good evening. I am Police Chief Amir El Farah with the Garden Grove Police Department. I first want to start off by thanking all of our citizens. I know this has been a challenging and difficult, critical incident. I want to thank you for your patience, your understanding, and your resolve. As you heard, there was new data that was received, and high-level discussions were had with subject matter experts. And I can now tell you that we can reduce our evacuation zone area. The new borders will consist of Orangewood Avenue to the north, Dale Street to the east, Knott Street to the west, and Garden Grove Boulevard to the south. Garden Grove Boulevard will restore flows of traffic in both the east and westbound directions. All off and on ramps of the 22 freeway will now remain open. For those of you who will be returning home this evening, please remember to adhere to traffic laws, drive safely, be mindful of pedestrians and your neighbors. We will be maintaining a high visibility and uniform presence in your neighborhoods for your safety. For those that remain impacted, I know this may be frustrating, That number is approximately 16,000 of you. Please understand that we are doing this for your safety, and we will continue to work diligently so that you will be able to return home hopefully soon. Eviction centers remain open for those who have been displaced. A map showing the new eviction area is going out on social media platforms as we speak. I thank you for your understanding.
We did it. I was handed an incident that had two options: a spill or an explosion. Now, as the chief said, it was unacceptable. We put all of our people together, we found a plan, and we instigated it, okay? That took time. That tank was ready to blow up. I want to talk about what's gone on in the last 24 hours that has gotten us to this position so that all your residents understand it's safe to go back. Because remember, I promised you at the beginning of this incident, that was the #1 priority, is to get everybody home. But we could only do it if it is absolutely safe. I appreciate the patience. I know it's been challenging and frustrating. So let me explain how we got to where we are in the process of repopulation. 24 hours ago, we started seeing the trends of the tank, okay? A lot of people are asking us, why aren't we getting the tank numbers more often? We were not putting firefighters downrange into the area during the daylight when the tank is at its most vulnerability. So we were doing at night operations, and we were doing it once or twice a night at the most to get in there and get a trend. Get in, get out, okay? We were tracking those trends. We had to understand the stability of the tank. What we essentially were shooting for, in layman's terms, is to boil an egg, okay? That's what we wanted. You know, you have to control that temperature to get that egg done right and not crack the shell, okay? The shell did crack, but just enough to release that pressure without causing a leak or an explosion. That was our huge moment in this incident that we were able to capitalize on and take control of it and start mitigating it and go what we would call offensive. Go downrange and start taking active actions to assess the tank and everything you saw on TV last night. That's because of the trending that we saw. You remember we talked about 77 degrees, and then 90 degrees, and then 100 degrees, and then it flattened. And then we went back in, and it was 93 degrees. It not only flattened, but it retracted. There we go. That's what we were looking for. That was that moment where we knew we were starting to get a hold of this thing. The tank was stabilizing. Then it's down to 92 degrees. Here we go. We took off all the sides of it. You saw those guys working so hard last night, taking off all the weather and insulation on the side so that the water can directly impact the tank and be more efficient at cooling it and continuing that. That's like that egg when you take off all the shell on the outside. That's what we did last night. So we could get the cooler water on it and be more efficient at cooling this thing down and managing that time temperature curve. Today, with all that information and the fact that we are confident that that tank released its pressure, we have absolutely ruled out the ability for this tank to levy and have that catastrophic explosion. With that intel, working with our partners, the experts from the EPA, the Orange County Healthcare Hazmat Division, our hazmat team, and the technical hazmat team that we brought in last night that led that charge in there, pulling off all that stuff. We were backing them up. With all those experts, we have reduced the footprint to what we are repopulating today. Roughly 65% of the incident is going home. That's a huge win. The number two, back up, the #1 win of this whole thing is we've had no injuries to civilians and we've had no injuries to firefighters. It doesn't get any better for that as an incident commander. Super, super successful day. What took so long today? The process is this. After all that data we're gathering last night and the last 24 hours, previous to that, this morning we have a repopulation meeting at 0900. We get all the decision makers in a room. We discuss the whole thing. We present the modeling. We've modeled the incident to the current potential. Mind you, there was 6,500 gallons in this tank, but we feel that a lot of that is cured already. We don't think there's that much liquid potential left in it. We don't know exactly how much, but based on all this technology and this indication with the experts, we know some of that is gelled up or hardened like it's supposed to do. So the modeling we did is for 5 days out, looking at the worst possible conditions that are currently forecasted. We built our evacuation footprint on a 360-degree assessment of that, so that if we have a wind change that we are unexpected, we have that covered as well. So that modeling, both plume and potential fire, is covered in this evacuation zone. That's why we still have a zone, because we still have hazards in this incident that we're trying to trend and fix and return the final group, that final 35%. So once that group make that decision, then we have to build that hardened interior corridor to protect all the residents that are still going to remain in evacuation. We prepare this whole statement to get everybody so that once they're done with that takes time to go build that whole new perimeter. Once we got that done, we timed it with this so that there was no delay in getting the folks home. They've gotten their messages, it's coming out, and we're going to get them home as soon as possible today. Now the priority left is keep our firefighters safe and get that final group home. I'm very, very optimistic moving forward that we're going to continue with this success, that everything is stabilizing, and we're going to get them home as soon as possible. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Myers. I am a federal on-scene coordinator with the United States Environmental Protection Agency Region 9 Emergency Response. EPA was involved in this incident at the request of Orange County Healthcare Agency. We have been providing air monitoring support and have over 20 real-time instruments, air monitoring instruments located throughout the evacuation zone and in the community. All of the air monitoring instrumentation that we've been operating has been operating 24 hours a day, around the clock, and there have been no exceedances detected throughout the duration of the incident. Federal, state, and local agencies are aligned in their commitment to public safety. Air monitoring will continue throughout the cleanup process as well, not just as a post-incident. These operations will continue as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Regina Chinskyo-Kwong. I otherwise go by Dr. CK. I'm your County Health Officer from the Orange County Healthcare Agency. I really want to say thank you to all of you, especially those who have been displaced, and all the organizations who have been supporting all those who have been displaced in the shelters. Thank you so much. And to all of our partner agencies who have made this successful. But the work is not over yet. There's still some things that we need to work through. We need to make sure it's still safe, and that's why we have a new evacuation zone. I want to reassure everyone who is outside of the new evacuation zone that when you go home, you can feel safe. There was no contamination. There were no fumes. There were no vapors that came from this incident. There was no leak. So you should feel comfortable going home, even if you're across the street from that new zone line. For those of you who are still now in the new evacuation zone, please stay out of that zone. We're trying to protect you because we're trying to make sure that no one is in the zone where there's still potential for risk. Again, I want to thank all of you, and again, I hope you feel reassured with all the information that we have gathered. We had a lot in the team who were working behind the scenes, tracking all the numbers, a lot of data and scientists, a lot of people monitoring the air. So again, I want to thank all of you.
On behalf of the OCFA Board of Directors, I want to express gratitude to our firefighters, law enforcement personnel, technical experts, partner agencies, and support teams who have been working tirelessly on this incident around the clock. This has been a complex situation, and I could not be more proud of all of the professionalism and teamwork displayed over the past several days. Public safety remains our top priority, and we truly appreciate the patience and support from the community. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Stephanie Klopfenstein, Mayor of Garden Grove. Like many of you, this city holds a special place in my heart. Garden Grove is where I grew up, and 5 generations of my family have called this community home. The sacrifices that you have made, leaving your homes, following evacuation orders, and remaining patient throughout this response have helped keep our community safe and allowed our first responders and response agencies to do their job effectively. I know how much this incident has disrupted your daily life for so many families. Residents have been displaced from their homes, businesses have been impacted, and I am relieved that many of you will be able to return home. The coordination, the bravery, and dedication happening behind the scenes is truly extraordinary. We are deeply grateful to every first responder, emergency worker, and city employee who has supported this response. For residents still under evacuation warnings and orders, please continue to follow the direction of our public safety officials. These decisions are not made lightly. They are made to protect lives, help your health, and keep you safe. We recognize that recovery does not end when evacuation areas are reduced or when residents begin to return home. The city remains committed to understanding what happened, supporting those impacted, and working with the appropriate agencies to ensure this incident is fully reviewed. Please continue monitoring city official channels, the Orange County Fire Authority, and ggcity.org/emergency for the latest verified information and updates. The regular City Council meeting scheduled for tomorrow, Tuesday, May 26th, has been canceled. Instead, the City will hold a special meeting at the Community Meeting Center on Tuesday, May 26th at 5:30 p.m., focused on the incident, the City's response, and the latest information available. Translation services will also be available. We invite the community to attend, ask questions, and stay engaged. Garden Grove will get through this together. We will continue to support our residents, businesses, and community every step of the way.
Again, I'm Orange County Supervisor Janet Nguyen from the 1st District. From the very beginning of this situation, I told you that I, the county, and AQMD are committed to making sure you are safe, informed, and supported through every step of this situation. For the last 96 hours, I've been here at the Emergency Command Center and in evacuation shelters, receiving and sharing information directly to you, the residents. Last night, our brave firefighters and responding agencies pulled off a dangerous operation in the hazard zone at the tanks to do recon and go on offense. Due to their bravery and technical skills, we are headed in the right direction and are getting many of you home. All these agencies behind me, from our own local, state, federal, and other groups coming together to protect our community. The coordination that has happened to get to this moment is nothing short of incredible. Beyond these agencies here, I've been proud to see the outpouring of support from our own community. Neighbors helping neighbors, small businesses and volunteers stepping up and providing for our residents affected by these evacuations. I can't express how thankful and grateful for our residents and community. As a member of the AQMD Governing Board, we will be continuously monitoring the air quality for the next several months. And the EPA will be monitoring our sewage and storm drains. And I can assure you, this matter will be thoroughly investigated. As your county supervisor, the county will make sure to get everyone the help that they need to bring their lives back to normal. I want to thank President Trump and the governor for acting swiftly to secure federal and state emergency declarations, which have brought critical resources into our community to support our local response and our displaced residents. I also want to thank our Fire Chief, McGovern, Orange County Fire Authority, Orange County Sheriff, Garden Grove Police, Garden Grove City, AQMD, EPA, FEMA, our county health officer, our county families, and every agency that has shown up for us. We have the best of the best on deck. We are not out of the woods yet, but we are headed in the right direction. And we will continue to be with you until this situation comes to a close. Thank you.
Hi folks, I'm Senator Adam Schiff, and I just want to begin by acknowledging and thanking the fire chiefs here, the police chief, Madam Mayor and the mayors of other cities, council members, supervisors, my wonderful colleague Lou Correa, as well as Derek Tran, who is presently at one of the shelters. But most particularly, all of the first responders out there who have been heeding the call of duty over the last several days in a very dangerous situation, who have been spending this whole Memorial Day weekend, among other things, away from their family to protect the communities that are impacted. Our thanks go out to all of you. It is wonderful news that one of the tanks of MMA, which had been over the last several days increasing in temperature and looking like it was going to explode, is now decreasing in temperature, and the risk of that explosion has been much mitigated. It's also wonderful news that the evacuation zone is being reduced, but I want to urge folks who are still within the area for which there is an evacuation order to pay attention to that order, to obey that order for your own safety and for the safety of people around you and for the safety of first responders. Nothing is worth risking endangering your lives by trying to go back to your home while there is an evacuation order still in effect. Don't put your lives at risk, and don't put the lives of first responders at risk by getting in their way. So please abide by those evacuation orders. I want to acknowledge the leadership of Derek Tran, who led the effort to get a federal emergency declaration, which I was proud to support along with Alex Padilla and Lou Correa. And I thank him for the work he's doing at the shelters right now. I also want to acknowledge Tom Umberg and his important leadership, but that of all of the folks that have responded to this crisis. I'm glad we now have that emergency declaration from the administration. It was granted within the last 24 hours. That is a great step that will help unlock further assistance from FEMA, EPA, and other agencies. And I'm also grateful to the governor for his swift action to declare an emergency. It's a team effort that's required to deal with an emergency like this at the local, federal, and state level. But once again, my profound thanks to all of the responders that have been out there on the front lines protecting our communities. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you to all of our speakers. At this time, we're now going to open it up for questions.
Chief Kobe,
Oh, sir, let me call on you, sir. Go ahead.
Chief Kobe, could you take the mic? What specifically has to be done to this tank to get the remaining evacuees back to their homes? And then what do you do with the contents?
As for the contents, I'll pass that off to the EPA and County Healthcare Agency, who will be part of that process. So I'm not going to be able to answer that question. I'll give you to the experts. Moving forward, what do we got to do? We need to keep seeing the trend and validating that the risk of a catastrophic tank failure with a hazmat spill and the risk of a fire, we're comfortable that that is taken out of the question, just like we did with the levee, the large explosion. So the trending temperatures are the key factor to that. Okay, we took the shell off. Right now they're going in every 30 minutes to check the temperatures and see where it's going. Once we can rule that out is when we can get the residents back in. Mind you, with the fire explosion, the potential of a fire still. We have a deluge sprinkler system going on that, which also further lessens the ability for that fire to be catastrophic. So all these things are trending in the right way. That's what I'm saying. We are going in the right directions. We're starting to take back control of this incident, and we should get them done soon.
Chief, firefighters are putting all this.
Okay. Folks, Teddy?
Yes. Can you talk about the status of the other two tanks? What's happening right now as far as mitigating the thousands of gallons of that same MMA chemical with those other two tanks? And then at what point do you feel that everybody is going to be able to go home? Are we going to see sort of a staggered, reduction of the evacuation zone? So talk about the status of the two other tanks that are very nearby, and at what point do you think everybody will go home?
So the question was the status of the other two tanks, and at what point do we anticipate people being able to the rest of the people being able to repopulate? Chief Covey?
Those are both very good questions. So the other tanks, are not as much of a priority of solving the first tank, but they're not off the radar being needed to be dealt with. So we're going to continue to focus on the priority of this, and that's that the status of that first tank and the need for us to gather the information so that we can return the public safely and confidently. Okay, what was the second question one more time?
At what point do you feel that everybody is going to be able to return home, and are we going to see sort of a staggered reduction?
So that'll be the question moving forward. The question is, what kind of repopulation are we going to have moving forward? We had a very large one this time, right? But it was a measured one. That'll be the same process moving forward. We'll let the science and the data, based off the modeling, based off of all the stuff that's coming in from the tank itself and the weather, factor that all together to how big of a footprint do we need to continue having secured and nobody around. Again, my number one goal, and I've said this earlier today, I need to treat this like my own child is going into that space, okay? Your children are just as important as mine, and I need to have that comfort myself that I'm not going to put anybody in harm's way. If it needs to be staggered, we're going to stagger it, just like we did today. If it doesn't need to be staggered, we won't, and we'll bring everybody back.
All right, next question. Go ahead, Michelle. So the question was about how low do we need the temperature to go before we feel comfortable, and is there still potential for a spill?
You got me on that one. A little more technical than I know. If I may, can I bring up Chief Freeman, who is our subject matter expert on that? Chief Freeman, if you can address that.
Good afternoon. Excuse me, Division Chief Nick Freeman, Hazmat Branch. To the question, we have had a lot of opportunity today after the work that was done tonight to start really inspecting those tanks. So if you've seen us overhead, we're working on evaluating the conditions of those tanks, the one involved as well as the adjacent tanks, just to make sure the risk factor for spill is gone before we make any further decisions. So we're doing a lot of that work, and we'll be working through the rest of tonight and until that is complete.
And what about the temperature? What would you feel comfortable with? I mean, I was told at one point that this temperature should be at 50 degrees. Is that accurate? And what are you looking for?
That's a good question as far as what temperature we're comfortable. Right now, we're just hoping to see more trending in the downward. Under normal conditions, it is around 50 with that cooling system in place, but that cooling system is not in place. So we're just going to watch the trending. We're going to continue to talk to the chemists and the experts to do the modeling to make sure that we're in the right direction moving forward.
You, sir.
Since the beginning of the incident, do we know how much water has been put on this?
Okay, so the question was how much water has been applied on this incident?
That's a big number. So you got a deluge system with a full throttle on it, and then we have that ground monitor on the ground that's flowing 1,250 gallons a minute. So imagine 5 days of that. I can't run that number in my head right now, but we're talking millions and millions of gallons.
All right, next. Go ahead, ma'am.
Do you anticipate the remaining evacuees being able to go home tonight or in the next few hours?
Okay, so the question was, do we anticipate the remaining evacuees being able to go home tonight or in the next few hours?
And then one other question. I noticed there's nobody from GKN here tonight. Have you guys been working in coordination with them, and why is there no representation from the company here tonight?
So as far as can they go home tonight, no. We don't have enough data to back that up, that decision. Okay, we're going to run another full night operations. You saw how late they worked last night. So we're going to get all that information, and we're going to revisit the subject tomorrow morning. I wish I could. I promise you. As far as GKN, they have absolutely been hip to hip with us down there. They're the ones that hired that third-party contractor who you saw inside ripping those things off. That was through our collaboration with GKN and teaming up and mitigating this incident.
Go ahead, sir.
Hi, Tim with KBC. Has GKN indicated why this tank overheated?
The question was, has GKN indicated why this tank overheated?
The The tank overheated because it's held by a recirculating refrigerating system. Okay, that's what kept it at 50 degrees. One of the valves in that system froze up, so it's no longer being circulated. And due to that failure, the tank went into the heating up process because it wasn't continuing to be chilled.
Go ahead, ma'am.
In the case of a chemical leak or explosion, what will evacuees who did not follow orders be told to do? Will they be told to evacuate in place, or will fire police be going in to get them out?
So the question was, anybody that does not evacuate that's still within the evacuation zone, if a spill were to happen, what could the potential impacts be?
Yes.
That would be a good question for Dr. CK. We'll invite you up.
Well, first, we want them to get out, right? We really want them to get out. If there's just no way to get out, then they got to shelter in place and let the air circulate within the home without allowing any of the outside air in. So you really have to understand your HVAC system to understand how to turn that off. So, but we really don't want people in the evacuation zone.
Sir?
Yeah, so firefighters are putting a whole bunch of water on this tank to try and keep it cool. A lot of that water is going into the storm drain. Is it being tested? Is it clean?
So the question was, there's a lot of water being applied, and there's water going into the storm drain, and is it being tested?
100%. That is absolutely part of our standard operations. At any incident that involves a hazardous chemical, or structure fires, any kind of spills, we are absolutely testing runoff. That's normal operating procedures. Plus, the teams put downstream barriers to capture. It's called an underslung dam. Anything floating, what this product does, it's lighter than water, so it floats on the top of it. It's a system that's built up that anything that's going through it captures the stuff on the surface level, where if by chance, and there's not, if there was by chance, we would be capturing
So
it.
it's clean right now?
100% clean. And it's been clean the entire time that we've been monitoring it.
Okay, Greg. Can I ask the mayor a question?
Michelle, go ahead.
Yes, for the mayor, please. This incident has elicited so many questions from people in Garden Grove and beyond. What do you want to say to them who are questioning why this facility is here, that they didn't know what was inside of these tanks, going forward, their safety? What do you want to say to your residents?
So the question's for the mayor, and what would she like to say to her residents?
Thank you for the question. Obviously, their safety, health and safety is of paramount importance to me. I can tell you that obviously I'm not going to really get a good night's sleep or be able to take a deep breath until every single resident is home and safe. So this is ongoing. You can rest assured that we're having conversations with GKN. Those are ongoing and those will continue. And we will stop at nothing to make sure that we have an exploratory conversation. We will be having an investigation. They will be ongoing and they will be transparent. And so we want the residents to understand that this is on the top of our minds and that this is ongoing and that it matters to us. And there will be a lot more to come in the days ahead. But for right now, on the top of my mind is making sure everyone gets home safely. Thank you.
Okay, folks, we have time for just a few more questions. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Can you talk about the level of crime that may have happened in the evacuation areas, such as looting or other types of crime, and what might people expect that are out of the evacuation area in the future for crime prevention?
So the question was about potential crime that occurred within the evacuation area and the potential for crime in the future. That'll be for Chief Alfaro.
Thank you for that question. Unfortunately, during incidents like this, we do have bad actors, and since the inception of the incident, we have made 7 arrests. One of those for looting, 6 for prowling, and I will tell you our partners over at the DA's office are going to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law and the statutes in place. We take high visibility patrols, plainclothes details, and the latest law enforcement technology to make sure our communities are safe, and we will continue to do that in these areas that are impacted. And for those who are going back to their homes tonight, they can expect to see Garden Grove PD and our local law enforcement agencies who are partnered with us in this around their neighborhoods for the duration of this event.
Can you repeat those arrest numbers, please?
Sure. 1 for looting and 6 for prowling. 7 arrests total since inception. Thank you.
Okay, folks, we're going to have one more question. Go ahead, ma'am.
Stuff, patio furniture, residue, or anything, is that something that we need to be concerned about?
So the question was, when folks return home, do they need to wash down their patio furniture and anything else outside, walkways, etc.?
Thankfully, absolutely not. You're fine. The product that we have is heavier than air. Okay, so it's light on water but heavy on air. So if anything released in the very beginning stages of this, when we called that emergency evacuation, it settled down in that immediate area. We had no winds. There was nothing that was really pushing this incident other than the pressure being developed in the tank. So if anything came out in that very early stages, which is why we were called out there, it did not get out into the community because we didn't have the winds or the pressure from the tank descended in there. Your community's clean.
Okay, folks, that's going to go ahead and conclude the press conference. However, I did want to make you aware of one thing. As this press conference was occurring, when Chief Alfara talked about the evacuation zone being reduced, we in live time sent out the new map. And we have the map over here that we're going to be bringing out so you can all see it. And that will conclude the press conference. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you to our community for their support throughout this incident. And please continue to follow OC Fire Authority on X for incident updates. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to enlarge the map now. We have the map on the screen. We have the map on the screen. Hold on. See if we see anything here. I think the camera's going to go off soon, but I'll wait. I will wait. Oh, no, the camera's going to the map. The camera is going to the map, but we also have the map here. You can see it there. So I will show you.
An outline of the old, the new one is the pink area.
There it is. There is the reduced evacuation area. We'll also show you online. It's zooming in. It's zooming in. There is the current evacuation area inside the former evacuation area. He's really zooming in.
Yeah, but we still got more to go. I think this is an odd valley. Well, this is still the valley. This is the old map.
No, he said that's the new one because the old one was coming out here.
Yeah, but it's still the old zone. That's the old zone. That's not
the dark area is the new zone. The red line is the old zone.
Oh yeah, it is. Unless it's this.
Oh, he's right there.
Unless it's this, right?
Why don't you ask?
Yeah, no, it's this.
Oh, I see. It's going to be this new red zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was the old zone.
Yes.
Okay. They're just ending the feed now. So we're going to now show you, let's show you guys the new evacuation map. Let me just also change the headline. Evacuation zone reduced in Garden Grove, California. I'll say in Garden Grove incident. So here is the map I'm going to show you right now. And I'll post a link to it too. But they did say 16,000 people are currently in that area instead of around 50,000. So that's a positive development. We'll take some comments from you guys too. Okay, here it is. It's like their website isn't even working at the moment. I'm going to show you the X post because the website is, oh, hold on. I think probably lots of people are going to the city website to get the map at the same time. Well, in the meantime, I'll show you from the X post what it looks like. Here it is. No, that's not it. Here it is. There it is. Updated incident map. Effective as of Monday, the 25th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. The red shaded area represents the newest evacuation map zone, while the red outline represents the previous evacuation zone. Henry Martinez says that's great news. Hang on a moment here. No, I still can't get it on the actual website yet. I have reposted this on my X account. Now what I can do is Moose says 16,000 is a lot of displacement. Yeah, still 16,000 displaced. Oh, I have a better one. I have a better picture of it. Here's a picture. Here is the map. I'll do it like this. There is the map. So the new map is in the dark red. The dark red is the new area. The police said that one person has been arrested for looting in the evacuation zone and 6 for prowling. 6 for prowling. Now, I was looking up prowling. Now, I'm looking up here. I am reading. Gemini says prowling in California is when a person loiters, wanders, or lingers on someone else's private property without a lawful purpose. There's some technicalities here. California Penal Code 647 PC. Can I find it here? I think I found it. Supposedly, this is it. Hold on. Supposedly, it's here. Wait, let me do it this way. Where does it say prowling? I see it says prowling. That says who while loitering, prowling. I mean, one part of this statute in California is a person who while loitering, prowling, or wandering upon the private property of another at any time peeks in the door or window of an inhabited building or structure without visible or lawful business with the owner or occupant. Also, who loiters, prowls, or wanders upon the private property of another at any time without visible or lawful business with the owner or occupant. Loiter means to delay or linger without a lawful purpose for being on the property and for the purpose of committing a crime as opportunity may be discovered. So I'm just trying to give you a sense of what this is about. It doesn't, this page doesn't specifically say everything here is prowling, but when I looked up what is the crime of prowling, I can tell you that in, where is it here? Well, I'm getting different things from different places. But hopefully you get the basic idea. roughly lurking with the intention of committing a crime, lurking, wandering, lingering on another's property without a lawful purpose, implying it. These are some of the definitions I'm seeing online. Implying an intent to commit a crime. So I don't specifically know what the California state law is, and maybe Orange County law is on prowling. But I wanted to try to give you some sort of idea of what that's about. So, but I am not a lawyer and I'm not a legal expert who can tell you the answer to that. But that's the basic idea. So you're not actually looting, but I think, I have a copy of the map too. Oh, hold on a second. Another, maybe a better photo, a better picture of that map. Here it is. Wait, it's not. They don't have it updated on the, oh, it is updated. Oh, look at this. Wow. Hey, look, breaking news. We're on the website for Garden Grove City. And let me show you here. If I zoom in, you're going to see this evacuation zone. There. So that shows you there there's the original zone and the new evacuation zone. And it says south of Orangewood, west of Dale, east of Knott, north of Garden Grove Boulevard. That is the new evacuation zone. About 65% of the people can go home. Yes, 586 Smoking Joe Weed says that's good so people can go home. Lisa Eckler says big difference. SDF says this map is even fancier. Yeah, you can see here. If you want, I'll post the link to this site, by the way. I'm going to post a link so you can go there and you can look at the map yourself. It's the Garden Grove City Emergency website. And then I guess that red marker is probably where the tank is. I assume. Is that where the tank is? I'd have to double check. That marker is between Western and Santa Rosalia. Unfortunately, it doesn't let me change the, doesn't let me do satellite. But I think that's about where, yeah, it won't go to satellite there. Between Western and Devonwood, right around there. All right, hold on. Let's just double check this. So here is on Google Maps. Oops, why are you seeing this? Here is Google Maps, and there's the incident. Yes, there's Devonwood, and there is Western, right. And there's the tank is right here. Again, that's from Google Maps. So, yes, the red marker on the map is the is where the tank is, basically. So there you go. Again, there's the original area and then the new area. And no risk of the BLEVE anymore. Boiling liquid, what is that called? I have to remember what BLEVE stands for. Boiling liquid where is it? I thought I had posted this earlier today. Now I can't find it. We talked about it. Boiling liquid, expanding vapor explosion. Boiling liquid, expanding vapor explosion. That was the most dangerous possibility. Levy. They also said today that the incident was caused because there's a cooling system that normally works on that chemical tank, and a valve froze on the tank, and it stopped the cooling system from working. Now, there must be some sort of, under normal conditions, I can't imagine that there's not some sort of built-in redundancy or protection from this happening. So I don't know how it so happened that a valve froze on the cooling system to keep the cooling system from working. Oh, Lisa Mercier says, I'm out of the updated evacuation zone by 1 block. I'm happy for you. Happy for everybody who gets to go back. Sorry for everybody who can't go back yet. They said they're going to revisit it tomorrow morning. Haley Girl says, my understanding was that the chemical plant was there before the houses were built. I don't know that. That could be true. Yeah, we're going to go back to Iran in a second. We'll have more Iran coverage. Our viewer Fuzzy Wuzzy says no one cares about this. So anyone who's watching who cares about this, you are wrong. You don't actually care about it because our viewer Fuzzy Wuzzy says no one cares about this story. Okay, I want to take a few more comments on this. Michael Thomas thinks someone was asleep at the wheel. Downtown Dan says the backup is 1.8 million gallons of water a day. They said that they had used millions of gallons to cool the tanks. Patty Miner says, I care. I have loved ones who were evacuated. So hopefully people can, the 16,000 or so who are there can get home soon. By the way, a quick thank you to AZ Intel's dad. Hey, thanks, AZ Intel's dad. I appreciate that. Also, I really appreciate it. Also, Joe Beatty, thanks for being a member. Michael Hutchinson, thank you. Michael says if people still need to stay away, it's not safe. What they said is that it's safe for the people who are now allowed to go back home. It's safe for them. They just have modeled this, and the new area is to them the area that's at risk, and they were emphatic that that this is based on their new modeling, based on science, and the area under evacuation is the area at risk, but it's safe for other people to go home. That's what they said. Okay, I think we're going to shift back over to Iran coverage. But, also they said a lot of the liquid in the tank, a lot of the liquid has now cured. It's become gel or solid, I think. Gelled up or hardened. So that's going on. They like that a lot of the liquid, they say, has gelled up or hardened. But there is still potential for fire and or a spill or a small explosion. So they're still working on it. Okay, now what I want to do is go back. I want to thank our moderators and talk about Iran again. Hey, thanks to Jacob Cannon Official who gave out 5 gift subs on Twitch. That's really nice of you, Jacob Cannon Official. Thanks, Oxytropis, as well. I need to check up and see if there's any, if we got, if we got any update, any response from Iran state media to Iran, U.S. carries out self-defense strikes against Iran. All right, so we want to get back to that. So let's get back to that and talk about that. And because we've been covering the press conference, I haven't had a chance to check Iranian state media. Did they even respond to the U.S. announcing it had launched self-defense strikes? I've just checked a couple of Iranian state media sites and seen no response. It's really weird. I'm not seeing a response yet in Iranian state media. I've checked 3 different Iranian state media sites. I'm checking a 4th now. No response to, let's check Fars News. Nothing on Fars News. It's very strange. It's very strange. All right, so let's get you up to date again on what's going on. Maybe the media were taken out? Ooh. Can see this headline from Reuters here. U.S. launches fresh strikes on Iran as talks to end war proceed. Juzbo Jangle says something is brewing. Oh, I never thanks Tormented Tantalus. Sorry. I'm sorry, Tormented Tantalus. I don't even know if Tormented Tantalus is still watching. In all of the craziness, I forgot to thank Tormented Tantalus, who says how much oil remains in U.S. and European reserves as of today versus start of the war. I'd have to look that up. If we get a second, I'll look it up in a little bit. I'd have to just look that up. Thank you, Tormented Tantalus, and also Skybird. By the way, shout out to also our moderators. We got Ruth moderating over there on YouTube, and Haley Girl and Leslie Ladyhawk. I really appreciate it. And speaking of YouTube, where they're moderating, I do also owe a thank you to Craftsman Ethos. Craftsman Ethos, who says, I grew up in the area of Garden Grove area. I know in the last 40 years, nothing like this has happened before. Seal Beach military silo depots by the 405 and worried about all the industrial that's been there since before the 60s. Crazy. Thanks, Craftsman Ethos. I appreciate that. Also, thanks to our Twitch moderators, people like Good Luck Duck, I Got That Fire, and Sarah, and our Facebook moderators, Kay Lowry Body, Darren Charlo, Paul Anderson, Michael Fergal. Thank you. Thanks, Iva Lids, Barry Speedell, and Diane Allworth and Dolly Clark for subscribing on Facebook, and Sophie Coretta. Thank you. And Barry Eisler. By the way, we will be covering Tuesday night, we will have coverage of the Texas Republican Senate runoff, John Cornyn versus Ken Paxton. We're going to be covering that tomorrow night, guys. I hope you can join. Okay, so we were going to go over what happened with the new fighting in Iran. Yes, tomorrow night. One of our viewers said a very exciting race. U.S. forces today conducted strikes in southern Iran against targets, including boats attempting to lay mines and missile launch sites in what it described as defensive actions. These strikes came as Iran's top negotiator and its foreign minister were in Doha for talks with Qatar's prime minister on a potential deal with the U.S. to end the 3-month war. U.S. Secretary of State Rubio told reporters earlier today in India that the U.S. would give diplomacy every chance to succeed before considering whether to deal with Iran in another way. Rubio said there was a pretty solid thing on the table in terms of their ability to open up the Strait of Hormuz, get the strait open, into a very real, significant, time-limited negotiation on the nuclear matter, and hopefully we can pull it off. President Trump, in a lengthy post on Truth Social today, said talks in Iran were going nicely, but warned of fresh attacks if they failed. It will only be a great deal for all or no deal at all, he wrote. But hours later, right before we came on the air, U.S. Central Command said in a statement it had carried out fresh strikes designed to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces, says Reuters. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefires, said Navy Captain Tim Hawkins, a Central Command spokesperson. Oh, now I don't know if this is true. Also Monday, I think it's true they said this. I don't know if it really happened. Also Monday, Iran claimed it had downed a hostile stealth drone using a new air defense system, Iranian news agencies reported, without saying where it had come from. Fars News quoted unnamed officials as saying, "This is a sign from us that no more stealth drones can penetrate the skies of the Persian Gulf." In another indication of the region's tensions, which we also talked about earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said today that Israel would intensify strikes against the Iran-backed Hezbollah militia in Lebanon. Israel's military soon thereafter said it was attacking Hezbollah infrastructure in Lebanon's eastern Bekaa Valley and other areas. Israel and Lebanon agreed to a ceasefire in mid-April, but Israel has continued airstrikes it says are acts of self-defense against Hezbollah, which was not party to the truce. The official briefed on the Iranians' visit to Doha, Qatar, told Reuters the discussions there focused on the Strait of Hormuz and around Iran's stockpile of highly enriched uranium, while Iran's central bank governor attended to discuss the potential release of frozen Iranian funds as part of a final deal. An Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Esmail Baghaei, said earlier that nuclear issues would only be negotiated after the framework accord was agreed. Trump has said his key aim in the war is to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear weapon with its highly enriched uranium. Tehran has consistently denied it has plans to do that. Also, something else we talked about earlier, Trump pushes Abraham Accords. In Trump's Truth Social post today, he called on more Arab and Muslim states to sign up for the Abraham Accords. He said in the post he was mandatorily requesting it. The Abraham Accords were brokered during his first term in office and aimed at normalizing ties between the states that signed it and Israel. Trump said that Saudi Arabia and Qatar should immediately sign, and Pakistan, Egypt, Jordan, and Turkey should follow suit, calling his request mandatory. A Pakistani source familiar with the matter said that statement by Trump reflected an attempt to use the Iran diplomacy for a wider push around the Abraham Accords, but the Pakistani source said the two issues were not interlinked and cannot be made so. Others saw Trump's suggestion as making an Iran deal more palatable to skeptics. Ali Vaez, with the International Crisis Group, said Trump is trying to sell an Iran deal as an Abraham Accord sequel. Good for Israel, good for the region, tough enough for Washington. But he is trading one fantasy for another, said Vaez, from forcing Iran to surrender to pretending a fragile deal can anchor a new Middle East order. You know what? There's a little more of this article. I normally don't read this much at once, but this is a nice summary of what's going on lately, this article. So let me just read a little more from this Reuters article. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Baghaei, said the potential Iran deal contained no specific details on management of the Strait of Hormuz, through which about a fifth of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas usually flows. Now, this was also something that Iran said. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said Iran will not charge tolls for ships to pass through, but there will be a cost for services offered, such as navigation and steps to protect the environment. So Iran is not calling it tolls, but they say they are going to charge ships for services such as navigation and steps to protect the environment. Japan's Nikkei newspaper reported the U.S. and Iran were discussing a plan to open the strait about 30 days after reaching a deal to end hostilities. Iran would then clear mines from the strait during a 30-day window, after which ships from all countries could navigate freely and safely. Iran State TV on Monday said that 32 vessels and 5 oil tankers passed through the strait in the past 24 hours with the authorization of Iran's Revolutionary Guards naval forces. I don't know if they're all paying tolls or what to go through. David Joe Klotz thinks Iran is tricky and has no intention of adhering to any deal. Here, by the way, is another story from Reuters about the strikes here. U.S. military strikes Iranian boats missile launch site CENTCOM. The U.S. military carried out strikes today in southern Iran against targets including boats attempting to lay mines. Was Iran really trying to lay mines today while the negotiations were going on? And against missile launch sites in what the U.S. military described as defensive actions. U.S. Central Command said in a statement the strikes were designed to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire, said CENTCOM. Gabe insists his name is a real name, Gabe. I don't know about that. But he insists it's a real name. Gabe, I'll just say, for the purposes of the rest of this stream, says that he says Iran would never do that. He says Iran would never put mines in the Strait today. Seed Music says totally not a toll, guys. Hang on a moment. But very interestingly, I have yet to see any Iranian response to the U.S. announcing this. It's very strange. Before, oh, hold on. I have something from Press TV. Iranian state media, about the U.S. claim to have attacked targets in Iran. Hey guys, look, this is from Press TV. Press TV. U.S. forces launched unprovoked strikes on sites in southern Iran on Monday, targeting areas near the strategic port city of Bandar Abbas, according to reports from American media outlets that even the aggressors themselves have been forced to acknowledge. So they're quoting American reports. Press TV is claiming that the U.S. strikes were unprovoked. That is from, it's about 40 minutes ago. Press TV is Iranian state media outlet. But they're not even saying, like, it's weird. It's like they're saying, according to reports from American media outlets. So we're not getting yet, like, the official Iranian government explanation of what happened. It's strange. It's quite strange. Quipson says Iranian mouthpiece Press TV. I don't think Trump has posted about the new strikes either. Let me just see if I'm seeing other updates about this. If you're wondering, oil prices, they dropped a lot after Trump on Saturday said that that the U.S. and Iran were close to a deal. So you can actually see the drop right there. This is from TradingView.com. TradingView.com. So you can see here. This is Saturday. Brent crude was about 105, and now it's 95. And then here is US WTI crude. Similar story, I think. Yeah, there it is. It was about 98 or so, and then it dropped to, it's about 91.8 now. But that's that drop on Saturday. Well, that's when the market opened. It's the drop between when the market closed and then the market opened after the weekend. But in between that is when Trump announced that there was a deal that was has largely been negotiated already. Yes, the Garden Grove press conference, you can rewind for that. Julian says, how are the gas prices going to be tomorrow? Well, I think it takes several days for major changes in oil to work their way through. I assume that this drop in the oil price will several days later be reflected in gas. I don't know by how much. Thank you, Julian Boss. Thanks also, Mendy R. Hold on a second here. Mendy asked about futures. This is barchart.com, for example. Bar chart, this is 10-minute delay, but S&P futures are up about, 0.6%. NASDAQ futures up about, 0.8% or so. Dow futures up about 0.6%. That's from barchart.com. If you're wondering about crypto, here's the one-day chart in crypto. Oops, why is that clock still on? That should not still be on, that clock. Here is the one-day Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin is below 77,000. That's the 5-day, that's the 1-week chart. That's the 1-month chart for Bitcoin. That's 1 month. That's tradingview.com. President Trump is going to Walter Reed Medical Center tomorrow. Oh, travel pool. Oh, hold on a second. I'm going to show you President Trump's schedule. Here is President Trump's schedule for tomorrow. Let me show you something. One moment. One moment. One moment. Okay, here is part of President Trump's schedule tomorrow. Check it out, guys. Check it out. Here. So what you can see is at 8 a.m., he has executive time. Then sometime after 8 a.m., he departs the White House en route to Walter Reed National Medical Center. National Military Medical Center. He arrives at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. He greets service members and Walter Reed National Military Medical Center staff. He undergoes his presidential physical. Then he departs Walter Reed and then arrives at the White House. It says he undergoes his presidential physical. At the end of the day, 1:30 p.m. policy meeting, 2:30 p.m. policy meeting, 5:30 p.m. policy meeting, and then 7 p.m. Rose Garden Club dinner. Shaker says there's an Iranian government plane heading to Moscow on Flight Radar. I'll look. I mean, for all I know, that's something that regularly happens. I don't know that that's some huge emergency or something. I mean, so I don't know the specifics, but I know Iran and Russia are close. If that's happening, I don't know. I mean, I don't. Which one are you talking about? I can't initially see it here. It doesn't come up among. I mean, there are not many people are following even these two planes, and these aren't the ones you're talking about. So I don't even know which one you're talking about. It's not clear to me. A couple people have mentioned it, not just one person in the chat. But again, I'm not aware of any kind of reporting that there's some huge development where some important person is flying from Iran to Russia for some huge reason that was unanticipated. Look on military filter. Where am I looking? That's an Iran government plane. Oh yeah, Tehran to Moscow. But again, I mean, for all I know, this is like a regular thing. I just don't know. I don't know enough about it to just look at it and say that's some huge deal. I follow people who know more about this stuff. I haven't seen any reports that there's some huge development that people think is happening involving some plane. If there is, I'll let you know. Sonny Rollins passed away. Jazz legend Sonny Rollins. Condolences to his family. Sonny Rollins has passed away at 95 years old. All right, give me a moment here. President Trump also hasn't posted anything specific about these self-defense strikes. Strange. Give me a moment here. Here, let me show you also something about what Marco Rubio said today. Marco Rubio made some remarks to the press. Now, why is this not behaving? Here it is. Marco Rubio marched to the press today in India. Question, anything new on Iran? You know what, though? I may even have video of this. Hold on. Let me see if I have video. That would be better. Do I have a video of this? One moment here. I might have a video from today. Just give me a moment. Let's see. Already fed. No, I'm just going to show you this. So Marco Rubio was asked today, anything new on Iran? He said, we're still a work in progress. As I said, we thought we might have some news last night, maybe today. I wouldn't read too much into it. Takes a little while to get back. So we have what I think is a pretty solid thing on the table in terms of their ability to open up the straits, get the straits opened. It's very real, significant. It's a very real, significant time limit of negotiation on the nuclear matter, and hopefully we can pull it off. It has a lot of support in the Gulf. There's a lot of support globally. Every country that we've walked through it understand it's not just very reasonable, but it's the right thing for the world to get done. The president said he's not in a hurry. He's not going to make a bad deal, and the president's not going to make a bad agreement. So let's see what happens. We're going to give diplomacy every chance to succeed before we explore the alternatives. Question, what's the holdup right now? Is there something that needs to be done? Rubio, it's just the response. I mean, when you get down on some of these things, you've got to hear back, and it takes the Iranians, takes them a little while longer to get back. So look, the president's not going to make a bad deal. He's just not. This issue, no one has done more. No one has been more serious about the threat of a nuclear Iran than President Trump has been. So I'm very confident, we should all be very confident that we're going to either have a good agreement or we're going to have to deal with it another way. We'd prefer to have a good agreement. Those are some of his remarks. Sean Novis, our viewer, thinks Iran is never opening the strait as long as they don't get a nuclear program. JD63 thinks Rubio is just parroting Trump. Parroting Trump. Antidot says we want a deal agreement. Coston thinks the administration has zero incentive to actually solve any issues because they've been profiting so heavily off the volatility. That's what our viewer Coston said. Oh, I guess there's some new comments from Rubio. It looks like. I think. I'm seeing some. Let's see if I can get you any updates here. Very little reporting about these new strikes from the U.S. Let me show you this, if I can. U.S. renews strikes on Iran, citing threats posed to American troops, says Washington Post. By the way, one of our viewers had asked about oil reserves. I don't have that handy. Oh, you can look that up, I think. I think you can look it up. You're talking about the strategic... Are you talking about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? Because I think you can look it up. Why can't I just do this by year? I'm so confused. Oh, you can. Here it is. Weekly U.S. strategic stocks of crude oil and petroleum reserves, U.S. Energy Information Administration. So if you go down to the bottom, you can see the latest numbers from 10 days ago. It says 374,000. This is 1,000 barrels. So that's 374 million barrels as of 5/15. It was 384 on 5/8. It was 392 on 5/1. Before the war started, it was 415, it says. Now it's 374. But that's from 10 days ago. I think Tormented Tantalus was wondering about that. So you can see here, the Washington Post says the U.S. launched new self-defense, in quotes, strikes on Iran, the U.S. military said Monday night, potentially complicating negotiations to end the war that President Trump launched in February. Navy Captain Tim Hawkins of CENTCOM said the strikes occurred in southern Iran to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. Targets included missile launch sites and Iranian boats attempting to set mines, the statement said. This seems like a big deal if that's true, that Iran was really trying to lay mines. These strikes occurred after a weekend of negotiations between the Trump administration and the Iranian regime to bring the war to a close. Earlier on Monday, Trump called on the leaders of numerous countries to join the Abraham Accords, a set of treaties aimed at normalizing relations with Israel as part of the settlement he is attempting to negotiate with Iran. Trump said on social media Saudi Arabia and Qatar should sign first, with Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, and Jordan following. He said, I am mandatorily requesting that all countries immediately sign the Abraham Accords, and that if Iran signs its agreement with me as President of the United States of America, it would be an honor to have them be part of this unparalleled world coalition. Trump said Saturday the U.S. and Iranian officials were on the final stages of reaching an agreement to extend the ceasefire as broader negotiations continue on the future of Iran's nuclear enrichment and control over the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. officials later said the extension could last 60 days while the Strait of Hormuz is demined and reopened. Several Republican hawks, including Senators Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz, have questioned the wisdom of the apparent plan, with Graham saying an agreement with Iran now could make Iran more powerful over time. Cheesy says, I thought Iran was nothing and had nothing left, according to Trump. What's the big dilly says, that's impossible. Trump and Hegseth both said they have no boats. These days of war said Rubio said the deal is a few days away or could take a few days. I saw that some quote like that. I'm trying to get the exact quote. Yes, AFP reports that Marco Rubio said a deal with Iran is still possible. He told reporters there were some talks going on in Qatar today, so we'll see if we can make progress. I think it's a lot of talking back and forth going on about specific language in the initial document. So it'll take a few days. That's what he said during his visit to India. It'll take a few days. Michelle Batten says, not holding my breath. Snarf says, whatever. Let's do a poll. Will the U.S. and Iran agree on a deal this week? Yes or no? I'm posting it right now. Again, we will be covering here tomorrow night the big Texas runoff, Paxton versus Cornyn. Election coverage tomorrow night here. Hope you can join us. I'm posting the poll right now. Someone mentioned Iran's internet. There's an interesting story today that Iran media was reporting that the president said that of Iran that he wanted the internet opened up there, to the international internet. I don't know if that I haven't heard that that's happened yet, but there's reporting that they were going to open up their internet again. Okay. Evelyn said, I saw that. I am right now posting the chat, and we're going to look at what you have to say about this. Hang on. Now, one of our viewers said they might not open it now. I wonder if these attacks will make a difference. So the question was, well, first of all, we're going to see you guys as you think about what to do. There you are thinking. There you are thinking. And choosing. Okay, I said, will the U.S. and Iran agree on a deal this week? Over on YouTube, the current poll number on YouTube is 90% no. Now, let me pull this up. Hold on one second. That's 90% no. Facebook is 92% no on Facebook, guys. 92% no on Facebook. And Let's put up Twitch. Twitch is 95% no. Wow. This is even more than when we polled after Trump posted on Saturday. It was still a majority then said no, but this is even higher. President Trump said on Saturday it was largely negotiated and you'll be hearing more soon. God is King says no way Trump will sign a deal with the devil. Babel thinks they're too polarized to agree on anything. Arias said he said that 2 months ago. You know, there's some unconfirmed reporting that in these U.S. strikes tonight, some Iranians were killed, but I haven't heard a statement from the Iranian government about it. CENTCOM itself hasn't even released a public statement. They've released a statement to the media. Also, I believe there was reporting about Iran saying something about Beirut, and that the U.S. and that Israel should not attack Beirut. Yes, so Times of Israel says Al Jazeera reported that if the U.S. that any Israeli strike in Beirut will threaten negotiations to end the war. Isn't that what Ali Hashem said? Let's see. Yes, Ali Hashem with Al Jazeera said any Israeli attacks on Beirut or the southern suburbs of Beirut would seriously jeopardize ongoing efforts to end the war and could derail the diplomatic track altogether. Remember, Netanyahu today said that Israel's going to carry out more strikes, escalate strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon. As Reuters says, Prime Minister Netanyahu said today, Israel will escalate strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon. But if they hit the Beirut area, Iran is threatening that that could undermine negotiations with the U.S. Hey, thanks for voting in our poll. So 90% said no on YouTube and 94% said no on Twitch. Wow. And 93% on Facebook. So you guys, most of you do not think there's going to be a deal within a week. Northern Redneck says Iran is trying to call our bluff. I actually have. I mean, I'm not seeing anything on it right now, but if in case we need it, we do have the live Beirut cam in case we need it. But I haven't seen anything on there today. Beirut, Lebanon. My best friend John thinks it's never happening, the Iran deal. By the way, thanks to Ruth for modding Haley Girl, and Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X, and what did I do here? Oh, I know. Good luck, Duck. I got that fire. Matthew Kohai 3, Sarah. Thank you for moderating. One moment. This is the Beirut, Lebanon live cam. But I'm not expecting in the coming minutes. Israel hasn't said they're bombing Beirut. Could happen though. At some point. They have before. We do have the live Beirut cam in case we need it. Thanks Darren Charlo and Paul Anderson and K. Lowry Body for moderating. Thanks William Bowser, by the way, for subscribing over there. Hey, I also want to shout out our subscribers over there on Twitch. I think we have another emoji at some point I got to post. I'll have to go remember that. I'll have to look that up. Seed Music and Tech Slug are subscribing. I've subscribed over on Twitch. Thank you. Hugh J, Wall Street Shaggy, Caden's Gaming Lounge, Strong One, Atomic Farting, My Mind Spray, Paranoia Vibe, Matthew Kohai 3, Glue-Man, Tatsiki, E-Biker, Susan CH04, My Mind Spray, all of our Twitch moderators, Simp Nasty Scrimp, to our Twitch subscribers, and our YouTube members. Hey, shout out to our YouTube members. People like LB5967, David Joe Klotz, Bluesy Girl, Evelyn in Maine, Stephen Parmy, Cosmic Brownies, Least Trustworthy Weasel, Harper Ann, Miss Pennywiser, Hiking with Dogs, Treasure Please, Susan Nelson, Echo Park Mom, Stephen Parmy, Real GK Barton. Did I read that right? Gorgeous Stencils, Casa, Sinead Farms, My Best Friend John, Darcy Do That. These are some of our members. Marisol Del Valle, CAC 813, Red Squirrel, Evelyn in Maine, thank you. Haunted Bear Child, Mr. Chuckleteeth, Jay the Moose, Pasta Sausta, Snarf Maru, Chris Renfro, James Foster. Look at all these members. Thank you. JT the Moose, SNN, LB. Thanks, Chris Renfro, for your support, too. Also, Jeff TE88. PFCR, thanks so much, Jeff. And Express Investing, who says, weld the leaking tank back together easy. Thank you, Express Investing from New Zealand. Thanks, Space Turkey, for subscribing. I was going to check this out real quick. Reuters had an article. What needs to be agreed to end the war, the Iran war? And they talk about the two sides have remained at odds on different issues, including Iran's nuclear ambitions, Israel's war in Lebanon, and with the Iranian-backed Hezbollah militia, and Tehran's demands for the lifting of sanctions and the release of frozen assets. Also, Iran's enriched uranium. Both sides say they have made progress on a memorandum of understanding that would halt the war and give negotiators 60 days to reach a final deal. I mean, if that happens, not much has been agreed upon. Senior Iranian diplomat Hossein Nushabadi told Iran's ISNA news agency today that the possible framework deal included the end of the war on all fronts, including Lebanon, which Israel might have a problem with, the release of blocked Iranian assets, the lifting of the U.S. naval blockade and opening of the Strait of Hormuz, the withdrawal of U.S. forces from the vicinity of Iran, and freedom to sell Iranian oil. That would be a lot of concessions to Iran. Nushabadi said Iran's draft for an initial agreement contained no commitments on Iran's nuclear program. A senior official in the Trump administration said Iran had agreed in principle to open the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for the U.S. lifting its naval blockade and dispose of Tehran's highly enriched uranium. I don't know about that. Iran's going to agree to open the Strait of Hormuz and give up their enriched uranium? Just a little summary thing at the bottom with some of these issues here, talking about them. What are the main issues, Reuters says, as you can see here. Hormuz and Gulf blockade, right? So Iran blocking the Strait of Hormuz, U.S. blockading Iran, nuclear. The U.S. believes Iran wants to build a nuclear bomb. Iran has always denied this, saying its atomic program is for peaceful purposes only. The focus is on enrichment of uranium, which generates fuel for nuclear power but can also make material for a warhead. An agreement may eventually be possible, including a lengthy moratorium on enrichment and the export or dilution of their stockpile of already enriched uranium. Ballistic missiles, a main U.S. demand before the war was that Iran limit the range of its ballistic missiles so they cannot reach Israel. Iran has always refused to discuss its ballistic missiles, saying its right to conventional weapons cannot be on the table and that it still has a large arsenal. Sanctions and frozen assets. Iran's economy has been hurt by sanctions for years, contributing to the nationwide unrest in January. Tehran badly needs for them to be lifted and tens of billions of dollars of Iranian oil revenues frozen in foreign banks to be released. It also wants reparations for war damage. Bunch of these issues. Roy thinks the only way it'll work is if they agree to let people in and take the enriched uranium. Oh, I didn't close the poll on YouTube. Sorry. My fault. It's closed now. So that's from Reuters, but just some of those issues there. A lot of difficult issues. And I haven't heard much about either side compromising. Crystal Ball Gypsy Doll says, I don't see this ending soon, unfortunately. I was looking for something new from Trump on True Social, but I haven't seen that. Look, it's Beirut. If you missed the press conference about Garden Grove, you can rewind. They have reduced the evacuation area. User thinks it will be concluded by the 4th of July. Still no response that I have seen. We saw a little bit of a response from Press TV, but not really any kind of significant response yet from the Iranian government to the U.S. strikes, the U.S. reported strikes. What time also did the polls close? I need to look this up. So according to DDHQ, the polls close at 8 Eastern Time in Texas, but 9 p.m. in El Paso and Hudspeth counties. Counting will likely be done before midnight, except in large metro areas. We might have an early race call tomorrow, though, between Paxton and Cornyn, because Trump has endorsed Paxton. So, I mean, given that the polls close at 8 in Texas tomorrow Eastern, we got to get on the air. I mean, 7 is like the latest I want to be on, but maybe earlier. Nicolette Parker thinks it would look very bad if this war was still going on America's birthday. Citizen John Public thinks Iran doesn't seem like they are begging for a deal. Gorgeous Denzel says, I'll be out voting in the AM. Oh, something about the internet blackout story. I wanted to mention that. Hang on. I want to tell you about the Iran internet story. It's an interesting story. Where is here? Okay, so according to Iranian state media, IRNA, okay, I want to show you something from Iranian state media. This is from IRNA. It's translated, okay? So, put this on the screen for you. It says that the Deputy Minister of Policy and Planning for ICC Development and Digital Economy at the Ministry of Communications. So Ministry of Communications Deputy Minister said this council voted today with an overwhelming majority to reconnect the international internet after expert reviews. He added, according to the legal process, the approvals of this headquarters must be reported by the head of the headquarters and approved and announced by the president as the chairman of the Supreme National Security Council. So it seems like it's not happening yet, but it might happen. Also, the official said the experience of recent months has shown that disruption in communications is not just a technical issue, but also directly affects the economy, investment, online businesses, and people's quality of life. No nation can connect to the future by disconnecting. And the development of the digital economy, innovation, and smart living will not be possible without a stable and reliable internet. Anyway, so it looks like this is something in progress here. Hasn't happened yet. Chessfish says, who knew the internet was important? Now, the government shut it down initially. So we'll have to see. Through these days of war thinks Iran officials are quieter on X now than they were a few days ago. So just checking a couple messages here. I just have the Beirut cam on. It's been a while since we looked at it. So, I mean, in theory, in the coming days, it would be a big deal, but Iran could launch more strikes in the southern suburbs of Beirut against Hezbollah. PW360 says, if Israel launches strikes on Beirut, could that target launching missiles at Israel and Gulf countries? I don't feel like Iran has been doing that as in response to what's going on in Beirut. I mean, I think what Iran said is that the report was that it would undermine the diplomatic process, but the Al Jazeera report didn't say they would start launching new missiles. So I don't know that they do that. Thanks to Misfits Studio for sending me a post about the internet reportedly en route to being opened in Iran. We'll see. Oh, Eric Lestrange mentioned if you wanted. I'm not going to go through all this now, but there's on the Institute for the Study of War website, they actually posted. Now this was posted today, but it talks about the different positions of the U.S. and Iran in recent comments. Uranium enrichment, highly enriched uranium stockpile, Lebanon, Strait of Hormuz, sanctions and foreign funds. Is there a deal? Lebanon, Strait of Hormuz. So I'll post a link to this. Institute for the Study of War says that The U.S. and Iran continue to hold fundamentally different positions on most major issues within the U.S.-Iran, quote, agreement. Iran has not publicly committed to removing its highly enriched uranium stockpiles or to halting uranium enrichment in Iran. Reinforcing broader uncertainty around the negotiations, President Trump said on today that any deal with Iran must be great and meaningful, and rejected anything like the Obama-era Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Iran has continued to claim that it and Oman control the Strait of Hormuz as territorial waters. Iranian officials are attempting to reframe transit tolls as protection fees to give Iran's protection racket the veneer of legality. The Strait of Hormuz is an international waterway under international law. Iran is claiming that the strait is territorial waters and under the admission of coastal states. It is notable that Iran does not consider the UAE a coastal state, even though the UAE borders the strait. This is also interesting too. Hezbollah drone operators have likely developed a rudimentary tactical approach to coordinate multiple small first-person view drone strikes in a short period of time. These swarm attacks appear to employ 3 or more drones operating in a staggered but near simultaneous manner. This system is extremely rudimentary and would require either a single commander to coordinate the attack or a preset, prioritized list of strikes that cannot be dynamically changed. Hezbollah will likely attempt to overcome the shortcomings of this tactical approach. If you want to read more about this stuff in depth, you can go to, I'm going to post a link to this, understandingwar.org. I'll post a link to that report. I really don't want to go through it myself right this second, but yeah, Edan Walters, we talked about the oil price earlier and said that it dropped since the weekend when President Trump said the deal was close, but that's a 5-day chart. It was at about 105. Then on Saturday when the market was closed, President Trump said a deal was closed. And then when it opened again, it was about $10 lower. That's from TradingView. Lou, I cannot pin multiple clocks at once, no. But in Iran right now, it is 6:37 a.m. Thanks, Lou1210 from the UK. I appreciate it. Thanks also, Ed Navas. Ed says, Israel didn't like the deal. It's sad that Israel lobbyists are the one controlling this country. Wow. That's from Ed Navas. Thank you, Ed. Also, SNN, thank you. Also, Blues Wasted. Thank you. It's very interesting. We never really got a big response from Iran to the U.S. claiming to carry out new strikes in Iran. Strange. Strange to me. We're also going to keep an eye. It's possible we'll do another Ukraine stream soon at some point. So we'll keep an eye on that situation as well. I think we're getting close, guys, tonight. I think we're getting close. I don't have that much new to report to you right now. But we're definitely going to be on tomorrow night for the election. Sandra Lee Hart says the world is a hot mess. Yeah, so again, we're covering tomorrow night. I got to look up what the other hold on a second here. Are we covering any other primaries tomorrow night? Let's see. I mean, the big one's going to be Texas Senate. Texas Senate. Does Cornyn have any chance? Well, he's a big underdog now. But we're gonna be covering it. We'll come on early and we'll talk about it. And then I'm hoping to have the coverage of the speeches. That would be great. Let me just check something. I got to look into that, but that's supposed to happen. Yeah, I'm going to look into that when I get off the air because that would be a good thing to have. So also I'll keep an eye on obviously the Iran stuff. There could be big Iran stuff tonight for all I know, or tomorrow. So as I did tonight, if there's big news, I'll just come on the air and cover it. We'll keep an eye on that. But I think we're getting close to that time, and I will keep you posted. If you missed it, we covered the Garden Grove press conference earlier. They have reduced the evacuation zone from the Garden Grove chemical tank risk. Oh, you know what? Hold on a moment, though. Before we wrap it up. Oh no, that's not anything exciting. There's footage I thought I might have footage of Rubio speaking. That's not the case. It's footage I'm not allowed to use of Rubio getting off a plane in New Delhi, India. That's not really helpful for our needs. Yeah, so about 16,000 people under evacuation order still in the Garden Grove area rather than 50,000, which is good. We'll keep an eye on that. And if you missed the press conference, you can rewind and watch it. So I really appreciate you guys being here for the live stream. And again, more coverage to come. We'll definitely planning on covering the election tomorrow night. And maybe we'll do some coverage on other stuff as well, depending on what happens. So, but I really appreciate you being here. And let's see here. I will also post updates on my X account if stuff is happening tonight that's not big enough to do a stream about. So on X, you can follow me at @Lookner on X. Oops, what did I do here? I messed something up. Why is it dark? There. @Lookner on X, you can follow me there if you want for breaking news. And subscribe, follow the channel. We cover all kinds of live breaking news here without an agenda, agenda-free TV. And yeah, subscribe, follow, and I would recommend turn on our notifications. We have our own notification system. It works really well and it's free. And you sign up once and then you get sent a notification whenever we go live early. It's really reliable, so you don't miss a stream, so you know when we're covering breaking news. So sign up for free. The mods will post a link to the notification. Sign up in the chat. You can also find it in the description of the video on YouTube and Facebook. Sign up for those notifications. I appreciate you guys letting me read your comments on the air tonight. I really appreciate you sending in your own updates and news links and stuff. Our viewer, William Bowser, does not think Trump wants the conflict to stay unresolved for his 250th anniversary celebrations. And our viewer, Nicolette Parker, says if they would stop bombing, so much good would come from it. But again, if you missed the press conference, you can rewind. We covered the whole press conference, the Garden Grove one. So rewind the stream. Let's see. But I want to thank our moderators who are great. A lot of people in the chat tonight, and our moderators are the ones who allow us to have chat rooms and keep everything under control there. So huge thanks to our moderators over on YouTube, people like Ruth and Leslie Ladyhawk over there, and all of our other moderators who have been there during the evening. Thank you so much. Also over on Twitch, Good Luck Duck, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai, 3 Sarah, and all of our Twitch moderators. Huge thanks. And on Facebook, Andrea Holder, Kay Lowry Body, Paul Anderson, Michael Fergal, Darren Charlo. Thank you. Linda Belglary and Misha moderate for us on X. Big thank you to all of our mods. And thanks to everybody who supported the channel tonight. Thanks, Michael Fergal, for the Facebook stars. Thanks to Space Turkey for subscribing. Thanks to I think I got everybody on YouTube. Did I get Blues Wasted for being a member? Joe Beatty for being a member? I think I did. I think I got everybody. So thanks for all your support. That's what allows the channel to exist, is your support. So huge thanks for supporting the channel. I very much appreciate that. Another good way to find out when we're live, if you are somebody who goes on to X, follow us on X at Agenda Free TV. I always post there before we go live, give you a heads up. I post updates about the channel over there at Agenda Free TV. We have a chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. The Discord chat, the Agenda Free TV Discord chat, a bunch of our viewers like doing that. It's free. Check it out. It's the same link as the free notifications link. The Discord chat. And big thanks to our Discord mods who moderate our Discord chat. Really appreciate you over on Discord. Also, want to remind people on YouTube, if you do watch on YouTube, I would suggest turning on the YouTube notifications. Another way to find out when we're live, if you want to turn on the YouTube notifications. Here's what you need to do. Subscribe to the channel and then click the notifications bell and choose all notifications. If you're already subscribed, make sure you just click the bell and choose all notifications. And let's see. I want to shout out our Facebook subscribers, people like Diane Allworth, and Brian Daviow, and Dolly Clark, and Sophie Coretta, and Kay Lowry Body, and Robert Rial II, and Michael Clayton, and all of our other Facebook subscribers. Huge thanks for subscribing over there and supporting the channel. On Twitch, all of our subscribers like Jack's Animals, and Hugh J, Wall Street Shaggy, Kendra Fox, Space Turkey, Justin D. Winters, Jax Haku, No Goal, and who else over there? Seed Music, Simp Nasty Scrimp, and all of our other Twitch subscribers. Strong One. Thank you, Twitch subscribers. And our YouTube members, thanks so much to you as well. Eric Johnson, Roy, Steel Booking, Evelyn in Maine, Pixie Lou, Marisol Del Valle, FB Outlands, Real GK Barton, CAC, Knox Corvus, Lisa Sawyer, Chevy Dad, SNN, Platinum Dose, The Sofa King, Squinting Cat, Lollipop, Don Video Guy. Did I say Miss Pennywiser? The one and only, all of our YouTube members, thank you. Our viewer JG says, has this become a forever war? Thanks H2300 for watching. Thanks Dr. McRib for being a member, and Harper Ann. Thanks, Ohio Freddie or Freddle. Did I thank Leslie Ladyhawk for modding too? I think I did. And again, if there's big developments later, I'll come back on the air to cover it. Thanks to all of our ex-viewers as well, like Citizen John Public and U.S. Rights and Freedoms. Dolly Clark, thanks for watching. Ann Spencer, thanks for watching. Nicolette Parker, William Bowser, and all of our other, Sarah Smile, and all of our other Facebook viewers. All right, we're wrapping this up. Stephanie Kimber Hooper, Judy Fishaw, and I said Ann Spencer, right? Sandra Lee Hart. Okay, so we are wrapping this up. We're really doing it. Oh, Ray Kaiser. Thanks, Ray, for watching. Okay, so we're wrapping this up. I will keep an eye out for other news, and we will see what happens. I'm just looking for any kind of last things to make sure I'm not missing anything huge. Nope. So it's still no real big Iranian response to this U.S. claim of conducting some self-defense strikes in Iran. We'll have to see what happens. All right, guys, that is it for now. Thank you so much for joining me again. Still technically Memorial Day, and as I said before, thank you and respect to all of those in the service who gave their lives in the U.S. in the service, in military service for the country. That is Memorial Day, what we recognize on Memorial Day here. So recognizing them as we did earlier as well. Okay, so that is it for now. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.